Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how we are going to crochet a Paw Patrol inspired Rubble hat. There is a link in the description below for the written pattern if you would like to have that as well. Let me have a look here. Sorry guys, I'm just referencing the written pattern while I talk to you because I believe, okay, no, I should add that. So there's also a link in the description below that will take you to a hat size chart. So you can reference some different sizing. For this particular one that we are going to be working on, I do offer a few different sizes. There's 18-month, 2 to 3 years, 3 to 10 years. And I'll be referencing throughout the videos what to do and when for those different sizes. Okay, so again, if you're working on 18 months, 2 to 3 years, or 3 to 10 years, then this video and the written pattern will be sufficient for you as far as specific stitch counts go. So I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, and I'm using Bernat Premium yarn. You are going to need yellow, white, a rust orange color, or I mean bright orange, whatever, it doesn't really matter, but I like the look of the nice, the rust orange, a light gray, and a dark gray. And I'm going to show you guys something. So to be honest with you, for the light gray and the dark gray, it's clearly not the same yarn. It really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. Those are for the, it's for the Paw Patrol badge. It's not going to make a huge difference, so don't sweat it if you don't have like the specific yarn in all those colors. I would say the most important that you want to keep the yarn consistent for would be the yellow and the orange, because that's the bulk of the, that's where the size of the hat is going to be impacted the most. So you want to make sure those are the same size. There's a little bit of white around the rim at one point, but it's not a big game changer. And the rest are for accent pieces. So it really doesn't make a huge difference if those are different. You just want to try and keep it as close to the same size as possible for the yellow and the orange. And again, 5mm hook, scissors, and a yarn needle. And measuring tape if you're working on different sizes based on measurement. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to begin with our, let me have a look here. Okay, so we are going to begin with our yellow, and we are going to make a magic ring. So you're going to just lay the yarn over your hand, your 4 fingers like this. Use your thumb to hold it in place. Gently wrap the yarn around the back and cross it over. Hold it in place. Take your hook, put it under that first one, over the second one, and carefully pull it up. Now this part's a little awkward, but you're just going to want to try and hold that all in place while you pick up your working yarn. And you're going to chain 1. Now working into the magic ring means you want to work around these 2 pieces of yarn. We're going to half double crochet 5 times. So yarn over your hook, put it right into the middle of the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Okay, so sorry, let me just get some more yarn here to work with. It's just getting pulled tight. So let's do that again. Yarn over, put it through the middle of the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull right through all 3 loops. Okay, so go ahead and do that 5 times and then come back. Okay, so now that you've worked your 5 half double crochets, so you did a chain 1 right here, and then you worked 5 half double crochets into your magic ring, you're going to take that little tail end and just pull it to close the ring. Okay, then you're going to take your hook, and we're going to close this round with a slip stitch into that chain 1 space that you started with. So you're just going to push your hook right into that chain 1 space, yarn over, and pull right through both loops on your hook. Okay, so now we're going to begin our first round. I know, okay, so technically a lot of people would consider this the first round, and I guess we could call it that. I just, because we're just working into the magic ring, I typically don't, but I guess, you know what, technically it is a first round. So anyway, our next round, let's get started on. You're going to chain 1 to begin each round. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to work 2 half double crochets in each stitch all the way around. So because we've got 5, you should be ending this round with 10 stitches in total. It's just going to yarn over, put your hook through the entire stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. We're going to do that again into the very same stitch. Okay, so we've just worked 2 into that 1 stitch. So you're going to just go ahead and work 2 half double crochets into every single stitch all the way around. So by the time that you finish this round, you should have a total of 10 stitches. And you're going to close every round with a slip stitch in the chain 1 space that you start with. And you will chain 1 at the start of every round. Okay, so let's see, where am I here? Okay, so there's our chain 1 space. We're going to close with a slip stitch. And we're going to chain 1. Okay, so now we're going to half double crochet 2 times into our first stitch. And we're going to half double crochet 1 time into the next. 2 into the following. And 1 into the next. You're going to go ahead and repeat that all the way around till you get back to the start. By the end of this round, you should have 15 stitches in total. You're going to close with a slip stitch in your chain 1 space and chain 1 to start the next round and then come back. Okay, so now that you're back at the start, you're going to do 2 half double crochets in your first stitch. And so just so you're aware, what we're working on right now is we're working on our increasing rounds. We're working on the crown of our hat. Just for those of you that are working on going by measurement, this would be the crown diameter that you would be watching your measurements for. Okay, so 2 half double crochets in that first stitch, 1 half double crochet in the following 2 stitches. So that's 1 and then 1 in the next. Okay, so we did 2, 1, 1. You're going to do 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, all the way around till you get back to the start. You're going to close with a slip stitch and then you're going to chain 1. By the end of this round, you should have 20 stitches. Okay, so go ahead and do that and come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that round, we're going to start our next. You are going to do 2 half double crochets in the first stitch. And you're going to do 1 half double crochet into the following 3 stitches. And as I'm sure that you've guessed it by now, you will continue that all the way around. You're going to notice your hat will kind of curl a little. It might be pooking a little in the middle. Don't worry, just keep on flattening it out, straightening it out. You could do like this a little bit, but don't worry, it'll all work out. Okay, so keep on going all the way around. So 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, all the way around till you get back to the beginning. By the time you finish this round, you should have 25 stitches. And of course, you're going to close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that round, you're going to do 2 half double crochets into the first stitch, 1 half double crochet into the following 4 stitches. And just like the others, you're going to continue on doing that all the way around. Let me just see something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So you're going to do 2. And then 1 in the following 4. You're going to do that all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1. And at the end of this round, you should have a total of 30 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now for our next one, we are going to do 2 in the first stitch, 1 in the following 5. And you're going to go ahead and keep on doing that all the way around. You're going to close with a slip stitch and then chain 1. And by the time that you get to the end of this round, you should have a total of 35 stitches. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that round, you're going to go ahead and do 2 in the first stitch, 1 in the following 6 stitches, 5, 6. And you're just going to go ahead and continue on doing that all the way around. Close with a slip stitch, chain 1. By the end of this round, you should have a total of 40 stitches. Okay? Now, when you get to the end of this round, you have your total of 40 stitches. That will be, you don't need to be increasing anymore if you're working on a size 18 months. So if you're working on a size 18 months, bear with me for a second, okay? But you're going to get to 40 and you're going to stop there for a moment, okay? Everyone else, just keep on going. So go ahead, everyone, even the people working on 18 months, finish this round doing 2 and then 1 in the following 6, 2, 1 in the following 6. You should have a total of 40 stitches by the time you get to the end of this round. Close with a slip stitch, chain 1, and come back. Okay. So due to the fact that I am going to be showing you guys how to work on a few different sizes, and I think this has been repetitive enough to this point that I'm going to tell you the next steps, and then we're going to move on for whoever size it is. So hear me out. We are now at 40 stitches, okay? This is the crown diameter for 18 months old hat. If you are working on a size 2 to 3 years old hat, you're going to do another increase round. You're going to do 2 half double crochets in the first stitch. You're going to do 1 half double crochet in the following 7. You're going to continue that around, close with a slip stitch, chain 1. By the end of that next round, you should have 45 stitches. So people working on ages 2 to 3 years old, you should have 45 stitches, okay? For those of you working on 3 to 10, you're going to be going up to 55 stitches around for your diameter, which means you have 3 more increase rounds right now from this 40 stitch point. So as I just said, for the 2 to 3 years, you're going to be doing 2 in the first stitch, 1 in the following 7. Close with a slip stitch, chain 1. If you're working on 2 to 3 years, that's where you stop. If you're working on 3 to 10 years, you're going to do another round with 2 in the first, 1 in the following 8. You're going to do that all the way around. Close the slip stitch, chain 1. You're going to do 2 in the first, 1 in the following 9, all the way around. Close with a slip stitch, chain 1. By the end of that round where you're doing 2 in the first, 1 in the following 9, 2 in the first, 1 in the following 9, you should have a total of 55 stitches by the time that you're finished and ready to move on. So depending on whatever size hat you're working on, push pause and go ahead and move on, okay? I am working on 18-month size right now for this hat. Sorry, I lied. I'm working on a size 2 to 3 years. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to go do my 2 in the first, 1 in the following 7. So go ahead, guys, do whatever one you need to do depending on your size of the hat. If you're 18 months old hat, you're done. So pause the video, work on that, and then once you have the diameter done that you need, come back. We're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so now that you've gone and finished coming up with the size of your diameter, get a stitch marker and mark your round here. Okay, this chain 1. And if you don't have stitch markers, you can go ahead. There's a link in the description below where I share the link to the Amazon link to where I get to my stitch markers that I use. I really like them because they're very smooth and they don't snag my yarn. I used to actually use just a scrap piece of yarn. You could do that too. You can use a scrap piece of yarn. The only thing I don't like about that is because if it pulls out, I lose my space and I don't really like that. So, but to each his own, whatever you want to use. But if you like this one, the locking one, there's a link in the description below. Okay, so let's move on. So now that we finished our increasing rounds, we are going to, of course, you should already have chain one. We're going to begin every single round with a chain one, okay? And we're going to half double crochet in each stitch around, just one half double crochet in every single stitch all the way around. And it's going to be easy to know if you've picked up an extra stitch or dropped one, because I did reference, you know, a couple seconds ago in this video, how many stitches you should have around, depending on the size hat that you're working on. So that should not be changing now. Every single round should be the exact same amount of stitches. Okay, so go ahead and do one half double crochet in every single stitch all the way around. And you're going to be doing that for a total of 5 rounds. Okay, 5 rounds. At the end of every round, you're going to close with a slip stitch, chain one, except for the last round. Okay, so when you get to the 5th round of doing one half double crochet in every single stitch, close with a slip stitch, do not chain one, just come back. Okay, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so now that you've finished those 5 rows, you can actually take that stitch marker out now, if you're using one, or whatever stitch marker that you're using. You see how that is? It's nice. Okay, so now that you finished that, we did close with a slip stitch in our chain one space, but you're not going to chain one to begin the next round, because we're actually going to fasten it off and we are going to attach our white yarn. So get your scissors and just fasten off a decent bit of a tail there, because you want to have really be able to secure it. So we're going to hide that later. Now we're going to go ahead and in that chain one space, we are going to attach our white yarn. So let me go ahead and grab mine here. Okay, so now you're going to go ahead and do your starting loop to attach your white yarn. I don't know, however you guys might attach it, that's how I do it. And just pull it through there and chain one. Give a little tug to secure everything. And now we're just going to go ahead and work one half double crochet in every single stitch all the way around. Let me just give that a little tug and secure it closed. Just going to work your one half double crochet in every single stitch all the way around. Close with a slip stitch. Do not chain one after this round, and then come back. Okay. So now that you have finished that round, you're going to don't chain one, you just close with your slip stitch, and you're going to fasten it off. Okay, now you're going to take your rust orange color or brown or whatever it is that you want to use. Okay, make a starting loop, and you're going to go ahead and attach that at this where you have your slip stitch there. Okay, and chain one. And you're just going to go ahead and work one half double crochet. Oops, sorry guys. In every single stitch all the way around. Okay, so you're just going to work one half double crochet every stitch all the way around. You are going to close with a slip stitch in your chain one space. Let me see here. Close a slip stitch and you will chain one. Okay, so go ahead and do that all the way around and then come back. So now that you've finished that last round of working one half double crochet every stitch around, you close with a slip stitch, chain one. You're going to now go ahead and do that again, just working one half double crochet in every stitch all the way around. Close with a slip stitch, and then we're going to fasten off. So go ahead, work that round and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished doing 2 rounds of half double crochet with your rust orange here, we're going to just pull a little bit up there for a little tail end, fasten it off. Okay, and now we're going to work on the ear flaps. Okay, So going from this back part here where the little seam is, that's where we're going to count in from. So now pay careful attention to what I'm saying here, because how many stitches you're going to count in is going to depend on the size of the hat that you're working on. Okay, so let me have a little look here. I'm just reading my written pattern. Sorry guys, bear with me for a moment. So counting from the back seam, reattach the rust orange or brown, because if you're using brown instead of the orange, in the 9th stitch. Now that's if you're doing a hat that is for 3 to 10 years old. Okay. Is that the sizing I gave? 3 to 10? Yeah. So count to the 9th stitch. So if you're working on a 3 to 10 year size hat, you're going to count from the seam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're going to put your hook in there for a moment. Okay. If you're working on an 18-month, you're going to do that, but into the 5th stitch. You're going to count to the 5th stitch. And if you're working on a size 2 to 3 year, you're going to count to the 7th, which that's what I'm doing. I'm doing 2 to 3 years, right? So let me see here. Where's the seam? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is where I'll put my hook. And that's where we'll reattach our yarn. Okay. So I'll recap really quickly. For 3 to 10 year, you're counting to the 9th. You're reattaching in the 9th stitch from the seam. If you're working on 18-month, it's going to be the 5th stitch. If you're working on 2 to 3 years, it's going to be the 7th. Okay, so let's reattach our yarn in our appropriate stitch, depending on those counts that I just gave. So just pull it in and chain 1. So that's how we're going to be attaching. And I'm going to flatten my hat this way so I can just focus on my little ear flap area here. Okay, so we're going to half double crochet in the same stitch where we just attached and in the next 9 stitches. Okay, so you should have a total of 10 stitches. So our stitch count right now for the ear flaps is the same no matter what the size of the hat is. It's where you've attached your yarn is what matters for the size of the hat, okay? So half double crochet in the same stitch where you attached it and in the following 9. So 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that gives us a total of 10 stitches. So what we're going to do now is chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to go ahead and half double crochet 1 time in each of those same 10 stitches that we just did. So we're just going back down those same 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, sorry guys, 9, and that one's a little bit tricky there, 10. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, turn our work, okay, and so let me see here. Sorry, I just got a little tangle here. I'm just reading my pattern while I undo my little snag and my yarn over here. Okay, so we are going to do a half double crochet decrease. You're going to yarn over your hook, push your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, hold that in place, push your hook in the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all of them. So what you did is you took these 2 stitches and you've turned them into 1. That's a half double crochet decrease. And now we're going to half double crochet in the following 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to end with a half double crochet decrease. So yarn over, push your hook in that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, hold it in place, push your hook in the very last stitch of the row, yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull right through all of them. Okay? And now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now we're going to half double crochet decrease in the first, or to start off. So, sorry, yarn over, push your hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, hold it in place, go in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all of them. Half double crochet in the following 4, 1, oops, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to half double crochet decrease to finish the row. Chain 1, turn our work. And we are going to half double crochet to start, or sorry, half double crochet decrease to start our next round. Okay. Half double crochet in the following 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and half double crochet decrease to end this row. Chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to half double crochet decrease and half double crochet decrease again. We're going to slip stitch in the same stitch we just finished working in, the last one, okay, and fasten off our work. Pull that through. That's one little ear flap done. You're going to go and repeat the steps for the ear flap on the other side. So you can go ahead and wind back a little bit if you want to, unless you remember those steps or if you have the written pattern, but go ahead and just repeat the ear flap steps for the other side. Once you have both ear flaps done, come on back. Okay, so now that you've finished both ear flaps, you're going to go into the back here where you fastened off, and we're going to go ahead and reattach our rust orange or brown yarn, whichever color it is that you've decided to use. Okay, and you're going to chain 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work a half double crochet in every single stitch all the way around, and I'm going to take you all the way to the ear flap because I want to show you something that I think, you know, this is one of the main reasons people do video tutorials or watch them, is to see an explanation rather than just hear it, right, when it comes to some things. So when you get to the ear flap, you're going to be looking at it thinking, okay, it's not stitches to work in because you're going, sorry, I bumped the camera, we made our ear flaps going like this, right? So our stitch, we actually only have one up here. This is actually the side of our work. So it is a little bit weird to work in. So what you're going to do is you're going to work your half double crochets evenly as possible. because the whole objective here is really just to give our hat a very nice, clean looking edge. Okay, that's really all. So it's not too critical, you know, where exactly you're pushing your hook in. You just really want to make sure that it's evenly all the way around the ear flap, your half double crochets, and you're going to continue over the top and all the way back down the other side. Same situation where it's not really stitches, it's the side of your work. So you're just going to do your best to make sure that it's even all the way down. Okay. All the way. And do we get to the bottom now? Yeah, so now we're here at the bottom. And you're going to find that you're back to working in your stitches. Going across the front of your hat now. And you're just going to keep going all the way across around the next ear flap, just like you did this one. Okay? And then back down the other side. And when you get over to here, you're going to close with a slip stitch and fasten it off and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished working those half double crochets all the way around and you're back here at the seam and you've closed with the slip stitch, we're going to fasten it off. Pull that through. Let's flip our hat inside out for this part, because you're going to see a lot of this happening, which is all of your tail ends from all the fastening off that we've done. Okay, so before we move on, we're going to hide our tail ends inside. We're going to clean this up a little bit. So using a yarn needle, I've got my written pattern here, sorry. We're going to hide our tail ends. Just thread your yarn needle. And on the inside of our hat, you're just going to go ahead and just carefully weaving it through the stitches on the inside of the hat. Really no rhyme or reason. It's just to secure the tail end so that it's not going to be like poking out of the hat anywhere. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, just, you know, a few stitches will do. And obviously make sure that whatever color yarn that you're, like whatever tail end color you're working on, that you're weaving it into that color only, okay? Because you don't want it to show through anywhere. And you're just going to go through like this. Like I said, just for a few stitches. It doesn't have to be, you know, the whole tail end if you cut them long like I do. And so just go ahead, pause the video, weave in all of your tail ends, all of them till there's no more loose, and then come back and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so now that you've finished hiding all of your tail ends, you're going to fold this back the right way so that it's not inside out anymore. Okay, and just lay it out nice and flat there. It's starting to look really good, right guys? Okay, so now we're gonna work on the little strings that you see that hangs down, right? So the way that we're gonna do those is you're gonna take the 3 colors that you've used to make this hat so far. So we've got our yellow and our orange And bear with me, I'm just trying to find the white. There we go. We're gonna cut even strands of these. I remember it has, so it's gonna have to be folded in half. So do it really long. It's better too long than too short, okay? And if you want me to help you out with trying to gauge the length, give me a second here. I'll measure it and show you how long about that I've done mine. So this gives me 6, okay. So I'm literally cutting mine to be about 22 inches. Folded in half. Okay, like when I say 22 inches, I mean like I've literally done like this. I folded it in half. See the fold here? Okay. Doesn't have to be exact. It really doesn't matter, to be honest to you. All right, so now it's 3 colors. We folded in half. So you're gonna have 6 strands to work with. So what you're gonna do is take your hook and you're gonna put it into the bottom of the ear flap. And just grab that little half bit through, pull it partially through, okay? Would have been smart if I would have held one side of my strands, but let's hope I'm holding the right section. So hold one set, like one half, so I've got 3 here, and pull the rest through so that your half is literally in the ear flap like this, okay? So now what you're gonna do is do like 2, 2, and 2, and you're just gonna braid them. So for those of you that don't know how to braid, you're gonna have 1 down the middle, 2 on the sides. You're just gonna fold right over the middle, left over the middle, right over the middle, left over the middle. I know it looks awkward, but it's because I'm trying to make the bottom knot tangle, okay? And you're gonna want it to be a little tighter, so let me pull that to the top. You're just gonna go ahead and just braid it all the way how long you want it to be. I like the little strings to be kind of long. It's so awkward to do this one. Usually I will like put the hat like just in between my knees to hold it in place so I can have some tension. Like it's easier to do the braid nicely when you can pull a little bit, but when I'm pulling, the hat's moving. So I apologize, I know it looks a little awkward. So go ahead and just keep doing that, braiding it down. I'm gonna go ahead and do it so I can be more comfortable, but just braid it right down how long you want it to be, and I'll show you how to secure it. Okay, so I think this is like a good length. And you can make it thicker. You can always even double up the strings even more if you want the braid part to be even thicker. Like it's completely up to you, however you want it to be. And then the way that you're gonna secure it is you're just gonna wrap it around your fingers like this, lift that up a bit, and push the ends through. And then just push your knot up to the end of the braid. And then give it a good tight pull to secure it. And take your scissors and fasten the end. Okay. So you go ahead, do the same thing for the other side, and then come back and I'll show you how we're gonna make our the little paw badge for the front of the hat. Okay, I'm actually gonna do this over the top of this hat right now because this is a very light color yarn and so is my little backdrop I have here. So it could be a little difficult to see if I'm not doing it on a bit of somewhat of a background. So I hope that you guys can see this okay. But you're gonna take your light gray yarn, make a starting loop, and get your hook in there. Okay, and you're gonna chain 3. 1, 2, 3. In the second chain from the hook, you're going to half double crochet, and in the next chain after that. So there's our first chain from the hook, there's our second. We're going to do a half double crochet in there. And we're going to do a half double crochet in the chain beside it. All right, so you've got 2 there. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Now you're going to half double crochet 2 times in each stitch. So go into that first one there, half double crochet, and we're going to do it again in the very same stitch. And we're going to do the same thing again in the next one. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm losing my yarn here. Half double crochet. So now you've got 4 stitches in this row. Okay. You're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Now you're going to half double crochet 2 times in the first stitch. And 2. So 2 in the first stitch, sorry, I'm reading the pattern as I go, and half double crochet 1 time in the following 2 stitches. So 1 and 1. Okay. And then you're going to half double crochet 2 times in that last stitch. So now at the end of this row, you should have 6 stitches. Okay, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. We're going to half double crochet in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chain 1 and turn your work. You're going to repeat the last row again. So it's just 1 half double crochet in each stitch down that row. Okay, chain 1 and turn your work. We're going to half double crochet 2 times in each stitch. So you're going to end up with 12. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see the shape of the badge really taking shape. 11, 12. Chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, so we're going to single crochet decrease 2 times. We're going to push our hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, hold that in place, push your hook in the next stitch beside it, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all of them. We're going to do that again. And so now what we've done is we've taken these 4 stitches at the beginning of our row and we've turned them into 2. Now we're going to double crochet 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, so yarn over, push your hook in the first stitch there, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first two, yarn over, and pull through the last two. And we're going to do that a total of 4 times. Okay. And now we're going to single crochet decrease 2 more times so that we're ending our row the same way that we started our row. Okay, so now that you've finished that last little row there, you're just going to fasten it off. So pull a little bit up. Actually, pull up a good amount because we'll use this tail end to sew our little badge onto the hat. Okay, so go ahead and pull off a good long tail there. Fasten it off, pull it through. And now we're going to work on the next part, which is the little accents of our badge. Okay, the little paw part that has to go on it. So you fasten that off. Now using a darker gray, we're going to make our magic ring. So let me grab my dark gray here. Okay. I'll move that out of the way for a second. So we're going to do our magic ring again. You can use dark gray, you can use black, you can use whatever you want. Okay, and so we're going to do our magic ring. Sorry guys, I'm just finding where I am in this pattern. Using darker gray, magic ring, chain 2. So we're going to do our magic ring. And we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Okay, now we're going to single crochet 5 times into the magic ring. So just put your hook right in the middle of that magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. So 1, 2, you know what, I gotta hold it weird when I'm working on a magic ring. I apologize guys, I know it looks weird, but it's the best way for me to do it. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you've single crochet 5 times into your magic ring. You're going to close that magic ring by grabbing your little tail end there, pull it right to tighten it up, close it with a slip stitch into your chain there. Okay, and now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet, where do I see here? We're going to single crochet 2 times in each stitch all the way around. And you guys probably are really like going to remember this from the starting of our project, how you were making the hat, remember? So only we're doing single crochets now instead of half double crochets. So you're just going to go ahead and do that until you've done 10 stitches all the way around. So you're going to single crochet 2 times in every stitch around, close with a slip stitch. Let me see if you need to chain 1. Nope, so you're going to close with a slip stitch and fasten off. Okay, and then come back. So I've just finished mine all the way around. I have 10 stitches here. I'm going to close with a slip stitch in my chain 1 space, and then I'm just going to fasten it off. Okay, put that aside. We are going to do a magic ring again using our dark gray. Okay, so we're going to do a magic ring. Oh man, I just made a mess of that one. Sorry guys. Magic ring. Oh, Jiminy. There we go. Sometimes it could be a little awkward doing these magic rings. Chain 2. I know it seems weird that I'm chaining 2 and then doing single crochets, but to be honest with you, it's because when I'm working with such small pieces like these little accent pieces, it's just easier for me to find my chains and work with. I don't know, I just find it a little easier. We're going to single crochet 5 times. Here goes my weird way of holding it. It's just something about working with a magic ring. Like, I have to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 more, 5. So we've got our 5 single crochets. We're going to find that little tail end there somewhere, it keeps on hiding, and close our magic ring. And close it with a slip stitch in your chain 1 space. And then just fasten that off. Okay. Now that what we just did, this little one, go do that 2 more times and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished the shape of your badge, you've finished your little accent pieces here, that's going to be the paw. You're just going to go ahead and place them on how you want it to be. Let me just fix that a little. And you're just going to arrange them to look like a little paw print on the badge there. If you can see that okay, I hope so. I'm getting in the light there. Can you see that all right? Okay. And you're just going to go ahead and use your yarn needle, and you're going to just sew them onto here. So just using these tail pieces, you'll sew them on. So go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now that you've went and sewn on your little paw prints there, I'm keeping this part just out a little bit for a second because I'm going to use it to secure the gray part to the hat. But first, we are just going to put the finishing touches on the little badge. Sorry, you guys, I know you can hear my voice and can't see anything. Just bear with me. I am finding my dark gray again. Okay, so the darker gray that you use to make the little paw, we are going to attach that to our badge. Just, you can attach it right there at the bottom. Oh no, that's like the wrong spot. I'm going to put it into this little stitch here. Okay, so just go ahead and attach that. I'm just pulling it through so that the tail end and the knot are on the back of the work. Okay, chain 1. And you're just going to go and single crochet all the way around the badge. Just going to give it a really nice clean finish. I mean, you've done all this work to this point. Might as well go and do the last little finishing touch, right? So go ahead and work 1 single crochet evenly all the way around, close with a slip stitch, fasten it off, and then come back. Okay, so now that you've done your little finishing edge, oh my gosh, isn't this looking so cute, guys? I love this pattern. Okay, so you're just going to go ahead and sort of eyeball it to see where you want, how you want the badge to sit on the front of your hat. And you know, I'm always losing my yarn needle. Using your yarn needle, you're just going to use our super long tail ends. I like to go ahead and just kind of reinforce the light gray down so it doesn't bubble up. And then of course, sew the edge down onto the hat. So go ahead and do that and then come back and we're going to work on the ears and then you're done your hat. Great. So we're almost done our hat. We're just going to work on the ears now. So starting with your orange or brown, whichever color that you chose, make your starting loop. Go ahead and get that onto your hook and chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the second chain from the hook, so there's our first chain. In our second, we're going to work a half double crochet. And we're going to do a half double crochet in the following 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In that very last one, we're going to do 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. It's awkward because that was the start of our chain, so it kind of opens up a little bit there. Now, instead of turning our work this way, which we would normally do, we're going to turn it this way. We're just going to turn our work clockwise. Okay? And we're going to half double crochet back down the other side of our chain, which would give us 6 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, we're not going to close it or anything like this. Instead, what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn our work. Okay? Sorry, I'm just trying to read the pattern while I go, and I'm getting to the bottom of the page and it's a little hard to see. So chain 1, turn our work. We're going to half double crochet times 1 in the first 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to half double crochet times 2 in the following 2 stitches. So we're going to go 2 times in this one, 1, 2, and we're going to go 2 times in the next one, 1, 2. And we're going to half double crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to half double crochet in the first 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we are going to half double crochet 2 times in the next 2. So that's 2 in that one, 2 in the next, and then 1 time in the following 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and oh, that's a bit of a 7. Chain 1 and turn. You're going to half double crochet 1 time in the first 8 stitches and then come back. And now, so you've did a half double crochet in the first 8 stitches. Now you're going to do 2 in the next 2. So there's 2 in that one and 2 in this one. And now you're going to half double crochet 1 time in each of the next 8. Okay, so now that you did those half double crochet down these last 8 stitches, you're going to chain 1 and you're going to half double crochet evenly across the straight edge, and that should give you 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that brings us around to the other side. And then it says chain 1 and turn. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to half double crochet decrease 2 times. We're still working across the straight edge. So yarn over your hook. You remember half double crochet decrease. You're going to push your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, go in the very next one beside it, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all of them. So we're going to do that 2 times. So it's 2 decreases. Okay, then we're going to half double crochet 1 time in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then half double crochet decrease 2 times. Okay, oh. Chain 1 and turn your work. We're going to single crochet decrease 4 times. So 1, 2, 3. My yarn is coming to an end. I'm lucky it takes me right to the end of this. So I'm going to have to go add a piece to finish this off. Give me 1 moment. So you did your single crochet decrease 4 times. Can you imagine? I ran out of yarn right at this last little step. Okay, so I've reattached it. So you'll chain 1 when you finish that row. Mine looks a little weird because I've just had to attach a new piece of yarn because mine ran out. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work. You're going to half double crochet 1 time in each of those 4 stitches that's remaining here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Slip stitch into that same last one that you just worked your last half double crochet and fasten off with a fairly long tail because you're going to use this tail end to attach the ear to the hat. Now obviously if your ear is looking a mess like mine because of, you know, running out of yarn plus your little tail end from the start. So of course you're going to go ahead and weave your little tail ends in and out of the ear. I don't think I need to show you guys that. You're like pros by now. And you're going to use your yarn needle and your long tail end here to attach that ear to your hat. Using your, what color yarn did I say? White yarn. Using your white yarn, you're going to repeat the same steps for the other ear and just attach it there. And then your Paw Patrol hat will be finished. Good job, guys.